Welcome to Theme Weavers, your weekly wisdom for weaving yoga themes into your classes to inspire your students. We're your hosts, Heidi
and Farron.
Welcome back to Theme Weavers, where we are jumping headfirst into the yogic teachings of the koshas. If you don't know about the koshas, or you want to learn about how to weave these teachings throughout your class, then listen up. In case this is your first episode you're listening to, please check out episode 2 of the Theme Weavers podcast for details and background on the structure of how and why to weave themes throughout your yoga class. Also to just know who we are as people, because that's always good, rather than just hearing our random voices. If you choose to use today's teaching on the koshas as your theme while using the gift of our inspo sheet, then please find a way to turn our voices into yours. Make this theme authentic to you specifically.
Thanks, Heidi. So we're diving right in. I'm going to give you my dharma talk at the beginning of class.
Okay.
And yeah, cool.
Great.
So this is on the koshas.
Let's do it.
So before we begin the physical part of our class today, I want to take a moment to talk about a part of yoga philosophy called the koshas. The koshas, which are often referred to as the layers or sheaths of existence, are a framework found in ancient yogic texts such as the Upanishads and the Vedas. These layers are used to describe the multidimensional nature of human beings, encompassing various aspects of our experience from the physical to the spiritual. In the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, the koshas are briefly mentioned in Sutra 2.5, where Patanjali introduces the concept of the 5 types of mental modifications, or the vrittis, which arise from the 5 koshas. We talked about the vrittis back in season 1, so if you're unsure what we're talking about, head back to episodes 3 and 4. So what are these 5 koshas? First, there's the Annamaya kosha, the physical body, made up of the elements of food. This is the most tangible aspect of our being, encompassing our muscles, bones, organs, and tissues. Second layer is the Pranamaya kosha, the energetic body, composed of prana, or life force energy. This layer governs our breath, vitality, and the subtle energy channels known as the nadis. Third layer is the Manomaya kosha, the mental body consisting of thoughts, emotions, and mental patterns. This layer influences our perceptions, beliefs, and the quality of our mind. Next is the Vijnanamaya kosha, the wisdom body associated with higher intelligence, intuition, and discernment. This layer allows us to access deeper insights and spiritual knowledge. Finally, the very center layer is the Anandamaya kosha, the bliss body, representing our true nature beyond the fluctuations of the mind. This layer is characterized by a sense of interconnectedness, peace, and unconditional joy. So now we know what each of these 5 layers are. Why is it important to learn about the koshas? For one, we always talk about how our lives are often so focused on external achievements and material success. So the koshas can remind us of a more holistic nature of our existence. They invite us to explore beyond the physical realm and dive deeper into the subtler dimensions of our being. And by understanding and working with the koshas, we can address common challenges such as stress, anxiety, and disconnection from ourselves. And through practices like yoga, meditation, and mindfulness, we can cultivate awareness and balance within each layer, fostering a sense of wholeness and integration. Usually when we explore the koshas, it's easiest to work our way from the outermost layer, which is the most obvious and tangible with the physical, and then slowly work our way inner towards the deeper and more inward part of ourselves. Like most things in yoga, though, committing to a practice of the koshas can present challenges. Our lives are so freaking full. It can be hard to find the time and discipline to explore these inner dimensions. And even if we have a few moments of downtime to ourselves, thinking about doing this deep dive can seem really daunting. Additionally, confronting aspects of ourselves that we may have ignored or suppressed can be uncomfortable and challenging. But the rewards of studying ourselves and doing the work to explore the layers of ourselves are pretty powerful. By nurturing and harmonizing each layer of our being, we can experience greater vitality, clarity, and fulfillment in our lives. We can cultivate a deeper connection to ourselves, to others, and the world around us, leading to a sense of purpose and meaning. Sounds to me like the whole purpose of yoga. And as we move through our practice today, I encourage you to explore the koshas within your own body and consciousness. Notice how each layer influences your experience on and off the mat, and also can change your experience with each pose that you take.
All right. That's like a really dense, informative dharma talk. A lot of information.
Super dense.
Yeah. I mean, it's important though. I heard a really cool analogy once that the koshas, if you take like a lamp, it's like a really good way of teaching it. You take like a, like a desk lamp or whatever with a light bulb, and you put four different like, what are they called? Like pashminas or scarves or whatever over the top pieces of fabric. And like the outermost is the light is dimmed the most by all the different layers, but that's your outermost layer of your koshas. And then you take it off and the light becomes a little bit brighter. And then you get to that second layer and you keep going until all that you're left with is the actual light bulb of like your bliss layer. But like that bliss is always within you. You just don't like see it as much when you're focused more toward the outer. And so maybe that's like in a quick hour-long class, like a easy, simple way to explain it without going into all of the depth. Maybe.
Yeah. I love that analogy. And it's just like how do you practice diving deeper? How do you get those layers off so that you can see each part of yourself, the different light of yourself until you get to that like bliss body, that Anandamaya Kosha.
And like
It's really cool.
it's in all of us, whether or not you feel it or see it right now, right? Especially if times are like dark or heavy, you might not feel that blissful layer within you. You might be feeling a little bit stuck or stagnant, and you don't even have the hope or believe that it's there anymore. But it's in all of us. That light bulb is in all of us. That bliss is in all of us. It just gets a little shrouded in all the other stuff. And our job is to explore it through movement, explore it through breath, explore it through meditation and stillness to help us have a more blissful way of reaching that state of samadhi, right? The ultimate goal.
Right. And even if you never actually get there, never reach samadhi, like let's just say that never happens for you, there's still that powerful benefit of exploring other layers of yourself other than just like the outside, the physical, the ego, like to figure out like really what makes you tick, like what's going on.
Yeah, it's important work.
Yeah.
Swadhyaya, that's self-study, right?
Yeah.
So we give this Dharma talk, whether it's like the longer or more dense one, because you have a lot longer with them, or the shorter version that helps them connect to what these concepts are in a very tangible way. We want our students to be able to, at different points, hear us say things to help them come back to and reflect on the koshas as they move their bodies. I actually weirdly struggled coming up with these for some reason. I don't think I've ever actually taught on the koshas in a normal 60-minute asana class, which is interesting. Have you?
No, I haven't. I've taught about it in teacher training.
Yeah, me
but
too.
not like in a class. Yeah.
Or like in conversations with people that like already walk the walk, if you will, like they've done a deeper dive.
Yeah.
It's interesting. But what I did come up with, I don't know, let me know if you think they're any good. With each breath, feel the energy flowing through your Pranamaya Kosha, your energetic body, nourishing and revitalizing every part of you. Or even just like in a less flowery way of saying that, like feel the energy that every breath leaves behind. That's your energetic body, your Pranamaya Kosha, something like that.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, cool. Thanks. As you move into each posture, notice how it affects not only your Annamaya Kosha, your physical body, but also your Manomaya Kosha, your mental body, influencing your thoughts and emotions. Basically saying you're in a posture or you're moving into the posture, not only your physical body, but where's your mind? How is this impacting you?
It reminds me of I guess it's a phrase that I use sometimes. I say, what are you feeling and where are you feeling it? Because I remind them that it's not just in their physical body, but also like in their mental body or energetic body. So it's like you can go into those different sheaths and layers because you don't just feel things with your physical body. You could be feeling an emotion and that's coming from a separate place, a different layer.
I love that. And I love that it's a question. You know me with my thematic through line phrases. I love questions. I love to ask students questions because I think it actually makes them have to answer them to themselves, right? Like it makes them actually do work versus just like, Heidi's making sounds again, you know. Or allow your practice to be a journey of exploration through the layers of your being, from the physical to the spiritual, honoring the wisdom of each kosha or layer. Mm-hmm. With each moment of stillness, dive deeper into the depths of your bliss body, connecting with the inherent peace and joy within. And then the last one I came up with was, as you flow through this sequence, remember that yoga is not just about the body, but also about nurturing and harmonizing all aspects of the self, from the outermost layer to the innermost core. That last one is probably more likely what I would say because it feels less formal.
Yeah, I like that.
And do you have others, given that neither of us have ever actually taught this in physical?
I don't have any others. I think I would just keep coming back to the one that I said of like, what are you feeling? Where are you feeling it? And then maybe tie it into like, what kosha might that be? What layer of yourself is that?
Yeah, that's good. That's a good
Yeah.
one. What are you feeling? Where are you feeling it?
This also made me kind of think about the visual that you gave of the scarves on top of the lamp. And like when you're talking about like harmonizing all aspects of yourself, it's not that you're like peeling away these layers and they go away. I feel like all the scarves have to be like attached at a point somehow.
Hmm.
You know? Does that make sense? Like
Does.
they're attached, they stay there, but they're like gradually being like peeled back. But then they can be like peeled over, not peeled, but like placed over again, like relayered.
It's so funny because whenever you hear anything about the koshas, it's always things that you take apart, like these scarves or the layers of an onion, right? You like don't then put the outer layers of the onion back on when you peel them off until you get to the
No.
center. Like it's so funny that we don't all the mental tricks that we give ourselves to have pictures of what this might look like don't
Yeah.
do that. That's so interesting.
They don't include that. So what's like a good analogy other than like keeping some scarves together? I was thinking like the petals of a flower, but then those also don't like go back over. But maybe that's the point. Maybe they don't completely cover the bliss body again once you've started to peel them back.
Yeah, they're not
Like once you've
necessary.
started to notice your inner layers, then there's like always like that awareness that's like, I don't know, I'm imagining a rose with petals. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. I'm also envisioning right now. I'm picturing like a scuba diver diving toward the depths of the ocean, toward like a starfish or a pearl that they see on the bottom. Let's go with a pearl. Like they see like a glittering pearl on the bottom of the sea, and they have to put on their equipment and they start to dive through the first layers where it's harder to see that pearl because you're like so far away from it. And as you get deeper and deeper, the temperature of the water changes, the feeling of the water changes, but it's still above you. Everything from that surface is still there as you're getting closer and closer to that glistening, beautiful pearl. And the pearl's always at the
Yeah.
bottom and the surface is always at the top. There's all these layers of ocean or ocean life or whatever in the middle. They're always there. They don't go away, but you just see the clarity of the pearl as you get closer and closer and deeper throughout the layers.
Yeah. And as a scuba diver, you can't just like come down to the bottom and then stay there forever. Like eventually you run out of
You need to come back up
air in your
there.
tank. You have to come back up. So it's this constant like up and down flow of like noticing different aspects of yourself, your different layers. It's like a continual process.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Dang, we're so good. Look at us analogizing
Boom,
things.
boom, boom. All right. So, what peak pose might you use then for this? I don't know any scuba diver pose. I missed that one in yoga teacher training.
I think there is a diver's pose.
Is there?
Well, they say it on Peloton
Okay, well,
sometimes. It's like when your arms are back, when you're in like chair.
airplane? Oh, we call that downhill skier in Massachusetts. That's what we call downhill skier.
Of course you would.
Right? Because you're like skiing down the hill, your poles are behind you, and you're looking at
Yeah,
diagonal.
that makes sense. I don't know. Anyways, we don't need a scuba diver pose. We don't even need like a scarf pose or anything. Like, let's think about this.
Maybe it's like lotus pose, where there's all these layers that can lead you to lotus, all these variations of sitting, and
Yeah.
every variation still is going to do the same thing with your hips and your legs and allow you to be still and in a meditative experience. But whatever layer you pick, you have to go through the earlier ones to potentially take it into a deeper stretch. But also, like if you're in that deeper stretch, you're still in that initial same structure or something. Like it's a very introspective pose to be able to explore, like maybe a guided meditation through these layers of the self.
Right. Yeah, I like that. I'm also thinking like mermaid pose that you reach from pigeon.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
Mermaids are in the ocean, and we just talked about scuba diving.
There you go. I didn't even think about that connection. I was just thinking of like, you have to go through different steps to get all the way up to mermaid. Like you have to get into your pigeon, and then you have to be able to bend your back leg and then reach back for it, and then slide your foot into your elbow crease, and then put both hands behind your head and bind them. Like there's all these different layers and steps, and you're going to feel something different, both physically and mentally and emotionally and spiritually. Who knows? Like it's all going to happen to get to that peak posture. So I think that's another good one.
I like that. I think that's great. Any like pranayama or breath work? I'm trying to think.
The first one that came to mind was Brahmari.
Bumblebee
breathing, bumblebee breath. Yeah, because you kind of cover up your physical sensations, right? You're plugging your ears, your eyes, kind of your nose, your mouth, so that you're able to like tune out the outside and really go into your head as you like hum and breathe. And so that's like a different, what is that called? Pratyahara?
Yeah, withdrawal
when
of the senses.
Sense withdrawal. Yeah.
I like it. That works for me.
Cool.
All right. So, yoga teachers, if this conversation on the koshas inspired you to teach a class on the koshas, please download our pretty inspo sheet found at themeweaversyoga.com/episode28, where we list out additional inspiration related to the koshas for you to help you take your class on this theme to the next level. On that sheet, we will also include some inspirational quotes, some songs that bring the theme to life, as well as mantras, mudras, specific pranayama, whether it's Brahmari or something else, postures and meditation to weave into your class.
Cool. Then as we prepare to conclude our class, you can offer this conclusion to your class. I invite you to carry the wisdom of the koshas with you, allowing their teachings to guide you in your daily life. Whether it's through mindful movement, conscious breathing, or moments of stillness and reflection, may you continue to journey inward and awaken to the fullness of your being. You can continue to ask yourself throughout the day, what am I feeling? And where am I feeling it? And which kosha is that coming from? And now go to our website, themeweaversyoga.com/episode28. The link is also in the show notes to request our inspo sheet for the koshas to help you bring this theme alive in your own voice and practice and teaching. Reach out to us on all the social medias and email to let us know how it lands with your students. We're here to support you as a fellow yoga teacher, and we want to know how we can be of the most support. Tune in next week for another episode of Theme Weavers, where we will help you feel prepared to go on and inspire your students in your next class. If you're unsure about how to weave a theme through your class, go back to episode 2 in season 1, Why Weave? The Importance of Threading Intention into Your Yoga. And until next time,
we weave you in peace.
Peace.